Do you feel trapped in a toxic push-pull cycle with someone you love? Are you trying to figure out whether she has borderline personality disorder, whether she's a covert narcissist running mind games on you, or whether her back and forth behavior stem from something else entirely? I'm Mr. Shelby, therapist, author, and life coach. And in this video, I'm covering 10 of the most common reasons behind the pulling away pattern. These dynamics can show up in any relationship for anyone, but I'm using she throughout simply because there tend to be fewer resources aimed at men navigating this. Before diving into the list, I want to note that a certain amount of push and pull isn't automatically unhealthy, especially early in a relationship. As you start liking someone more, you may naturally wonder if they feel the same, get a little nervous, and pull back slightly to test the waters. These small oscillations often help gauge commitment and balance early on. And in a securely attached, well-adjusted person, this pattern naturally fades as trust and investment deepen. On the toxic end of the spectrum, though, the opposite happens. The push-pull cycle intensifies and becomes more chaotic the deeper the attachment grows. Even people with severe personality disorders can often seem to function fine until a real attachment bond forms, and then everything shifts. If the cycle is getting worse rather than better as the relationship progresses, there's usually something deeper driving it. Here, in no particular order, are 10 of the most common reasons behind the push-pull cycle. 1. A cluster B personality disorder. The clearest example of this is the push-pull pattern seen in borderline personality disorder, where swinging between idealization and devaluation is a core feature of the condition itself. She may be aware something is off, yet still unable to manage the symptoms. Later in this video, I'll get into the deeper reason people with BPD swing between pulling you close and pushing you away, shifting from sweet and loving to defensive or even dissociative within minutes, and why this isn't something you can fix from the outside. 2. Past trauma. This often overlaps with the first reason. If she carries attachment wounds or emotional walls from a past relationship, childhood trauma, or both, she may genuinely crave love and connection with you, while that very closeness simultaneously triggers a fight, flight, or freeze response. When this stems from childhood trauma, whether or not it develops into a full personality disorder, the attachment system essentially gets cross-wired. So the nervous system sends mixed signals. Emotional closeness gets coded as danger rather than safety, fear rather than love. 3. Unresolved resentment. She may be pulling back because something hurt her, one big thing or several smaller things that quietly piled up. Maybe she feels she shouldn't be upset, doesn't know how to voice it, or you've already tried to talk it through and it never actually got resolved. So even though she still loves and cares about you, she's starting to feel emotionally detached, consciously or not, while some part of her still wants things to work. That internal tug of war between wanting to stay and needing distance shows up outwardly as the push-pull you're experiencing. 4. She's playing a deliberate game. Sometimes the push-pull is intentional, a calculated technique to get you hooked on her. If you're being love-bombed, then discard it, then love-bombed again, especially in a way that feels deliberate or even cruel. She may be consciously conditioning your nervous system, training you to work harder for the reward and to fear the punishment. 5. She's a narcissist or sociopath, and you've lost your novelty. The initial high of a new relationship has worn off. She's restless and bored, and you're no longer producing the same emotional charge for her. Her underlying insecurity and self-loathing resurface, and she blames you for it. Like any addictive pattern, her brain has built up tolerance to you and needs either a higher dose or a new source entirely. So why does she keep reeling you back in? Either she hasn't secured a replacement yet, or she's still getting something out of the power and control she holds over you. And in the case of a sociopath, sometimes that something is your visible suffering. 6. She's just not that into you anymore. The emotional connection has faded, but you're still meeting some practical need or providing a benefit she isn't ready to give up. Maybe you share kids, a marriage, or financial support. In that case, it may simply feel easier for her to keep you around at a distance, pulling you close only when she needs something or senses you're about to walk away. 7, she feels too much pressure. She may feel like you're coming on too strong, too clingy, or too controlling, and she needs to slow things down. Maybe she's sensing she's losing her sense of self in the relationship and wants to reclaim some individuality and emotional stability, so she creates a little distance to recalibrate. In a healthier dynamic, this need would be communicated openly and maturely, rather than through sudden withdrawal that leaves you confused and anxious. 8, she's mirroring your own push-pull signals. If you've been fully available around the clock, liking every post, always on call, and then you pull back for any of the reasons above, she's likely to respond in kind, whether consciously or not. 9, she's spotting red flags in you. She may be noticing something that feels off, pulling back emotionally to rationally reassess you and the relationship, then feeling reassured and drawing close again, only to notice something else and repeat the cycle. This could stem from her own hypersensitivity due to past experiences, or it could be a reasonable response to genuine red flags on your end. 10, she feels judged or shamed by you. If you've been pointing out her issues or suggesting she get help, however well-intentioned, she may be feeling broken, wrong, or re-traumatized by the judgment, even if she genuinely does need support. But if she isn't willing to seek out professional help herself, there's ultimately nothing you can do to save her from the outside. Why you can't fix it? When BPD or complex trauma is the root cause. Those are some of the most common drivers behind a push-pull cycle. And if you've noticed others, feel free to share them. But if borderline personality disorder or complex trauma is genuinely behind what you're experiencing, the cycle will be extreme and it will intensify. No matter how safe you are or how safe you think you're making her feel, she may never feel secure with you because her trust and attachment wounds have nothing to do with you at all. Here's the short version of how it tends to unfold and why you can't fix it from your side. Early on, she might be hesitant, telling you she's been hurt before and struggles with trust, or she might go all in immediately with intense affection. At some point, she'd become utterly consumed with you, showering you with attention and compliments, and then seemingly out of nowhere, she pulls away just as hard. She goes cold, distant, slow to respond, always too busy, leaving you to initiate everything. And when you finally do connect, she seems irritable, withdrawn, unlike herself, sometimes even ending things outright. Then days or weeks later, she's warm and intensely engaged again, only to pull away once more, leaving you cycling through self-blame and confusion while already hooked on the highs. The person you fell for can become almost unrecognizable, harsh, cutting, prone to extreme devaluation, telling you that you're the worst thing that ever happened to her. And the mood swings, jealousy, and insecurity keep escalating regardless of what you do. Then she wants you close again. You share a few genuinely beautiful moments and the cycle repeats. She craves the connection, but that same closeness activates a subconscious threat response and pushes her straight into survival mode because somewhere in her attachment wiring, love has become linked with fear, danger, and unpredictability rather than safety. This pattern frequently traces back to having a caregiver who was inconsistent, warm and loving one moment, neglectful or rejecting the next, leaving a child biologically wired to attach to that person while never knowing which version they'd get. That child learns to walk on eggshells, constantly scanning the caregiver's moods, and rather than face the unbearable truth that the person they depend on for survival is unsafe, the child internalizes the blame instead, splitting off and rejecting the parts of themselves they believe caused the rejection. Because the inconsistency was unpredictable, the child often can't even isolate which parts of themselves are bad. So they end up rejecting themselves wholesale, a wound that resurfaces at a primitive, regressive level whenever their attachment system gets triggered as an adult. No matter how much you love her, no matter how safe you try to make her feel, if attachment has become fused with pain, rejection, and danger at that core level, only real psychological treatment can shift it. If she isn't willing to pursue that help, my honest advice is to protect yourself while you still can, particularly if there are also narcissistic or antisocial traits in the mix. If this was helpful, please subscribe to my channel and click the link above to learn 10 ways to deal with someone who keeps pulling away from you.